Hello everyone and welcome to O2 Inside Line live from Twickenham's O2 Blue Room. Welcome, thank you for joining us, thank you for logging in, thank you for putting your personal details into the website. We won't spam you, it's fine. Hello everyone, hello O2 Blue Room. Yes, it's revving up for quite a contest. It's England versus Ireland at Twickenham, and we have some very special guests coming your way. Ladies and gentlemen, let's throw to the green room and welcome a gentleman who will be with us all morning. Who is it? There he is, the king of the beards. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Brad Shields. Brad, welcome.
Thank you.
This is the first time we've sat in the O2 Blue Room together and had a chat about rugby. But welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Brad Shields. Yes, Brad Shields. And Brad Shields' beard, everyone. It must be quite disconcerting that your beard got a bigger cheer than you.
It is a bit strange, but it's been around a part of my life for about 6 years now, so it's not surprising, to be fair.
Well, we'll talk about the beard a little bit later on, but let's talk about this tournament, the Six Nations. It's a big one, and it's iconic, and it's probably the greatest rugby tournament in the world. Why do you think it's so special?
It's massive, and I think the biggest thing is the quality of rugby and the rivalry between each teams is second to none. So for us, especially when you're playing, it's like each game has its milestone, each game has its sort of fear, each game sort of has its challenges. So I think that's why, and obviously spectacles to watch for the fans, so one of the greats.
And every time England play, it really does rouse the nation. And you've been there, you've done it. Let's take a look, ladies and gentlemen, at Brad Shields in action. That was you in action, Brad Shields. 8 caps, 2 tries. How does it make you feel? How do you feel when you watch those highlight reels of yourself? I ask that of every player, and we get the same reaction. So let's see if you give the same reaction as your teammates.
It's a trick question.
It's not a trick question. It's a genuine, honest question. How do you feel when you watch things like that?
I think you get a little bit like butterflies type feeling, because it's quite cool. Like you actually think, I look like a half-decent rugby player out there, but in here it's probably a little bit different.
But putting on the jersey is something special. What did you think to yourself, or what did you say to yourself when you saw your jersey with your name on the back hung up in the locker room?
It's massive, and for me it was a sense of accomplishment. Something for me obviously happened a bit later in my career, so for me it was just about, like, you know, you've got to a point where you've been working to basically your whole career, and to put an international England rugby jersey on was like, it was mind-blowing. I couldn't believe it, and it's one of those things one of those days I'll never forget.
And you've got a very strong Lancastrian accent. You grew up in New Zealand. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so basically my parents are from England and had us over in New Zealand. Basically grew up most of my life in New Zealand, and came over here a couple of years ago to pursue a dream of playing international rugby, and managed to tick a couple of boxes. I don't feel like I'm finished yet, so I'd love to get another opportunity.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. The fire is still strong in your belly, Brad.
Definitely.
I asked you earlier on which part of New Zealand you were from, and you said you weren't from a specific part because...
Well, my old man's in the army, or he was in the army, so that was a massive part of my life, and moving around all over New Zealand was the first sort of 6 or 7 years of my life. I lived in the States for a year, which was mental, and settled in Wellington when I was about 9 or 10, so was there ever since.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brad's father was in the army. Come on. We love that. We love the fact that we always show our respects in the O2 Blue Room to our armed forces. New Zealand is a quirky place, isn't it? I've got a brother-in-law. My wife, Strictly Come Dancing's Tess Daly's sister, she married a Kiwi. So we go every year and a half, we always visit New Zealand. And it's a country that really does develop your personality, shall we say.
Yeah, I think, look, for me, I think you end up taking your hometown for granted a little bit until you go away. So obviously, England, what we found is such an amazing place. We go around week in, looking at all these places, but we didn't really do it in New Zealand because that's where I'd grew up. So I wasn't really sure what was around. But you're right, you need at least 3 or 4 weeks when you go on holiday to check out all of New Zealand, and it's such a nice place to go, as is the UK, and pretty cool place.
Let's talk about England's performance in the Six Nations so far. Tough, tricky performance against France, and then we really had to kind of get a grip, literally, in Scotland. How do you see this game panning out against Ireland?
The weathers are slightly better than it was in Scotland, so...
But if it rains, it's going to be exactly the same.
Well, this is true. It's blowing a gale out there. Look, I think if it's going to be running rugby, it's going to be high scoring from both teams. It's certainly going to be physical. And I think England want to do a few things that they weren't able to do against Scotland because of the weather, and everyone sort of made it a little bit tighter, which was probably obvious. So I think it's going to be an exciting game. Ireland's obviously looking for a win. England's looking for a win. So what better matchup can you have? It's
kind of each team needs this win. It's pivotal to the performance in the rest of the Six Nations tournament, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, anything can happen, and Wales unfortunately couldn't get on top of France yesterday, but there's still another game to go, and it's not all sort of doom and gloom. Everyone wants to keep on top just in case someone does slip up, so anyone's opportunity.
Manu and Slady back in the team. What do those two individuals bring to a team performance?
Well, I think Manu's obviously for his physicality.
I love the reception he gets every time he steps foot on the field. We just go nuts, don't we, for Manu Tuilagi? He's a beast.
He's a beast, and when you train against him, you certainly know what the opposition feels like. With Slady, he's obviously a quality player, and he's definitely one that you jot down one of the first names you put on your team. He's still relatively young, but it seems like he's got an old head on his shoulders, and the way he thinks, the way he plays, the way he kicks for a midfielder is pretty quality. So.
And bringing those two names into the squad, what impact do you think it's going to have on the team performance?
I think, well, I mean, any name that you bring into an England team is going to perform, but I think it's almost like Manu brings that experience and physicality, so it's almost like if they're behind the game line, hey, how about we give it to Manu and see what he can do, type of thing. And I think Slady brings a little bit of calmness, brings a good left foot, so I think the boys just enjoy having the options there.
And Eddie seems fired up this week, so it's going to be a proper ding-dong-do, both on and off the field. Let's talk about the beard. We mentioned it earlier on. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like your attention on this, because even though he looks dashingly handsome with that with that awesome beard, you are doing it for a reason. There is a purpose behind the beard, right?
Well, the beard has been on, as I say, for 6 years, and just recently I've decided to get rid of it. So I sort of got to a point where I wanted a little bit of a change, and through my injuries, it took a bit of a toll on my mental health. So I thought, what a better way to get rid of it and try and raise some money for mental health awareness and see what happens. So.
Yeah, very good. Very good. And obviously mental health is at the top of everyone's list because of what's happened to various people recently. So thank you, we appreciate that. You're going to shave it off for charity. What's the charity called?
Well, the charity is Loose Heads Foundation, so you can visit the GoFundMe website. There's a Brad Shields shave link there, and also on my Instagram page, Brad_Shields, there's a link in there as well. So get on there, and any help is obviously is massive for us, and hopefully it doesn't scare anybody what's under the beard, and take it back.
Brad_Shields on Instagram. That's Brad_Shields. That's 2 extra followers right there, Brad. All right, we've got some questions from our audience. Have you got a question, young man? What's your name? Where are you from?
Hi, my name is Logan, and my question is, what inspired you to play rugby?
What inspired you to play rugby? Good question, Logan. Do you play rugby?
Yes.
Good man. What position do you play?
We don't know yet, but to be scrum half.
All right, okay. You want to be a scrum half. You've got exactly the same haircut that I had from 1 to 18. It'll serve you well, my friend. All right, what inspired you to get involved with rugby?
Well, it was actually my dad, and he couldn't play rugby, so I thought I'd take the reins for the family. No, I was from about 5 years old. I went and got involved with, as you do in your age, you play touch rugby or in the bare feet, in the freezing cold, in the frost.
If you're a Kiwi.
If you grew up in New Zealand, yeah.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get enough of it, so I think that sort of got me through to college. And then once I started watching professional rugby, I knew I wanted to be a part of it, and haven't turned back since.
It's so funny how New Zealanders play sports without shoes. I've done it myself, it hurts.
We don't have a choice sometimes.
Yeah. Have you got a question?
Yeah.
What's your name first? I beg your pardon.
Oliver,
All right, Ollie, what's your question?
did you go straight into rugby or did you do rugby before, like in another club?
Oh, yeah. So your club rugby, how did that start? Did you start off in the juniors? You mentioned that you loved running around because your dad didn't play rugby.
Yeah. So we sort of started, so when I mentioned my dad was in the army, we sort of moved around, so I was moving from club to club. And it wasn't really until I settled in Wellington where I had a rugby club and then went to school and played rugby. So in New Zealand, I think it's a little bit different to it is here, where you come through the age grades, stay at the same club until you're, whatever age. But I think because I moved around a little bit, I got to see a few different clubs, see a good part of New Zealand, and here I am now. So.
And here he is at Twickenham with us. What a privilege, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, Brad, you're going to stick around.
Yes.
You're going to go serve some beverages at the bar. And Brad said to me, ladies and gentlemen, beforehand, that he loves it when people ask for a selfie and pull his jersey and stroke his beard, ruffle his hair. So get involved. He loves all of that, physical contact within reason. We like that. Gentlemen, thank you very much. I apologise we didn't get to your questions. We do have an Ireland fan on the end there. Enjoy yourself, young man. This is trouble. In 15 years' time, I can tell you five are going to be trouble. All right, Brad, thank you very much. Let's get a quick score prediction.
As I said, running rugby, I think it's going to be about 32 to 25, 24 to England.
So we will be entertained.
We will be entertained.
All right. And just quickly, the Red Roses are 7-0 up by all accounts.
That's a great start.
We're going to put that on the big screens here in the O2 Blue Room for everyone to watch. Wherever you are around the world, check local press for details on where you can watch the ladies' game. I do believe in the UK it's on Sky Sports. And it's on YouTube. And it's on Sky Sports, right? Yeah, it's on Sky Sports and YouTube. Thank you very much. All right, for now, make sure you join us back here on this Facebook page at 1:30 because we'll be watching the boys arrive here at Twickenham on the bus and we will then see them into the stadium. But for now, Brad, you get yourself behind the bar, my friend.
Who's up
there
first?
He is, Brad Shields, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Oh, Brad loves the lat pull-down machine. He's got a strong back. All right, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you at 1:30.